Hey, what's up dudes, Khraze here, welcome back to Outriders once more. Today let's take a look at some of the really awesome high-end mods that you should expect from the game once it launches. I was lucky enough to get a handful of items with a ton of really cool effects, so I kinda wanted to showcase all of this to you guys. Some of them provide completely new functionalities, others are just huge DPS increases, while there's also a few in there that will just add a few cosmetic effects like sparkles all around your character and all that kind of stuff. So let's jump right into it, and as always, if you enjoyed this video at any point, also don't forget to leave a thumbs up on it. By the way, there's still time for our Outriders giveaway. If you didn't know about this, I'm giving away a free copy of Outriders on Steam, so you can take part in the giveaway by simply being a subscriber of the channel and then following the links in the description box as well as in the pinned comment. And in about a week from this point, I will announce the winner right here on this channel. And one of the first I want to talk about is something called the Phantom Dash that completely replaces your character's dodge/roll ability. I even posted a video of this yesterday on Reddit. I got a ton of questions about it, so here it is. It essentially makes your character to kind of fade away with its body, and it also causes all of these sparks around you in a really cool kind of effect. And here is, by the way, how the item card looks like. So the mod is going to be called the Phantom Dash. During combat, your default roll is replaced with the Phantom Dash, which enables you to quickly pass through enemies. Now I will say this also works outside of the combat. It's just that it doesn't work in the hub, but it does work in any other map where you would otherwise encounter enemies. And it's really awesome. As I've said, it enables you to pass through enemies, but by far my favorite thing about it is the fact that you completely bypass any damage for the duration of your body being faded during the dash. So essentially, when your body is invisible, you're not getting any damage from at least the normal sources, so you can kinda dash around an enemy's attacks and you're never going to get damaged unless, well, you kinda screw it up or you don't time this properly. But it's really awesome. I know that there's at least another ability that does something different, so it still replaces your dodge, but this time around, from what I hear, it replaces it with something that lets you go underground. If you have a video of that, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Now this brings us to the second mod that I want to showcase that I got on a Broodmother mask, but this is gonna be the tier 2 shield zap right here. When your shield is activated, it spawns an electric shock around you, dealing in this case 76 damage up to 2 enemies within a 5-meter radius with a cooldown of 5 seconds. This is, by the way, absolutely amazing on somebody like the Trickster that can generate shields all the time, but in theory, if you have like weapons or items that can also generate shield, it could be theoretically put on a different kind of class. But yeah, the Trickster is just gonna be the best one. So as you can see, like in many of these combat situations, it's super helpful because it doesn't just protect you, it also is used as a means to deal additional damage, like pop a bubble, kill enemies. As you kill enemies, you gain shields, and those shields will also zap up to 2 enemies around you in a 5-meter radius. Now in this case, of course, the weapon damage, the zap damage is gonna be like pretty small, like 76, but it's totally gonna scale up as you level up with your character, and the effects are really awesome. Like combining this with a previous dodge roll, you're gonna have a pretty electrifying kind of character that I really love, by the way. So the aesthetics will change quite a bit. Now that's not the only effect of this type that you can find on your helmet that can give you some really awesome sparkles over there that can also deal some damage. And cue in this behemoth mask that I got, and this comes with a really interesting ability called the Seismic Impulse. It's basically this kind of like impulse or pulse kind of ability that you see like spawning from my character every couple of seconds. Yeah, that one is going to continue all the time. It's never going to stop. It's going to continue to pulse like that and also deal damage to enemies. So Seismic Impulse is going to generate every 2 seconds, dealing 20 damage in this case to enemies within a 5-meter radius around you, and there's absolutely no cooldown on it. There's absolutely nothing stopping it, and it's gonna happen non-stop even in the hub area. So what I like about this is that you can couple it with something like the Devastator that also has quite a lot lot of shields and incentives to play close range, so you could just like pack a ton of enemies in a pretty small area, and just from the Seismic Impulse alone you can deal quite a bit of damage that can help you with heal over time, or maybe you can get a few other supporting mods out there that can also apply some bleeds. So this is like something that doesn't even cost any resources or cooldowns to activate, it just happens all the time. It's just that the damage is not the biggest, but it is definitely useful. But we talked about armors, let's talk about a few mods that you can also get on weapons, starting with one that I think right now is one of the best in the game, especially for AoE damage. It's called the Bone Shrapnel, and just like how it sounds, it basically makes your enemies explode, and yeah, it's gonna detonate their bones to deal damage to other enemies around them. So description reads as follows: killing shots detonate the enemy's bones and turn them into shrapnel that deals 133 damage and inflicts bleed on enemies within a 5-meter radius with a cooldown of, check this out, only 1 second, which is basically like non-existent. You're going to shoot anyway every second or so, so you're not going to notice that cooldown anyway. But I will say this, in combat it makes a really huge difference. Like, you can go against a group of enemies, pop somebody in the head, they're going to explode, and currently at level 7 and world tier 5 they might even take like up to 3, 4, 5 enemies around them, and that's just from the initial explosion. Keep in mind that you still apply that bleed on top, so they will also bleed over time. And this is why I said that this is probably gonna be like one of the best mods right now for the Devastator, because you have another guaranteed chance to apply bleeds. And if you watched my yesterday's video, you know you can transform that into kind of like a bleed vampire kind of leech that also heals you over time on top of all of this. So really amazing one. It's like super gory, but if you enjoy that, this is probably going to be the best mod for you. This brings us to the final weapon on the list that I want to cover, that actually has 2 effects that are really awesome, but I will mainly concentrate on one, and that's gonna be the mod called Deathchains. So when you shoot an enemy with a weapon that has this mod on, it's going to apply this chain kind of effect for up to 3 seconds. That's going to deal 15 damage over that duration, and the cooldown is again pretty small, only 2 seconds. On this one I was lucky enough to also get it with the freezing bullets, which means that on top of the chains I can also freeze an enemy, so it's gonna stay in place and get that damage over time. But you probably already saw the effect in action. It kind of causes this spiraling chain kind of effect around the target. It's especially amazing against bosses because you're not just freezing the enemy with this tool, you're also doing that damage over time, kind of like a bleed effect but much more powerful. I even tested this against like enemies with armors. It seems that it deals the full damage, and yes, it seems to bypass their armors as well, so it might just be pure damage, but I will need to test this more a little bit. All in all, I'm really enjoying the mods right now. As I've said, there's going to be over 350 of these in total in the game, and these right here are not even close to being the best in the game. There's others out there that are way better, and we will cover them, maybe even make a top list once the game launches. But this is it with today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.